Hello, and welcome to this week's Schreiber Council meeting. This week, there is a focus on waste management with two presentations to Council, one on residential food waste, followed by a delegation from NWMO on the transportation of nuclear waste. The Downtown Pavilion project will also be a topic of conversation as costs are discussed and the various department reports will be presented. Now here is tonight's agenda. Thank you for watching.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our September 24th meeting. Before we start the meeting, we'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. Call to order the open session. Approval of agenda. We do have a deletion. The Economic Development Officer report, local festivals, and that's in the committee, the whole portion of the meeting under department reports. That's a deletion. Anybody?
It's a possibility.
Possibility of the,
No, we have an addition as well, Tammy's report on wastewater treatment plant blower install.
Okay,
Oh, no, it's not blower install, sorry. Actually, that's my mistake. That's on the sludge return boxes.
This one?
Yeah. My bad, sorry.
where are we putting that?
Number 14?
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, any disclosures of interest for tonight? Okay, so tonight we have three delegations, and for the first one, we're going to hear from Food Cycle Science, Residential Food Waste Diversion Solutions. And it's virtual, so I'll just move out of the way.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me. I'll just share my screen so you can see my presentation. Okay.
And I would assume you're well aware of the 10 minutes?
Yes, I am. Okay. I will begin.
Okay.
So good evening, Mayor, members of council and staff. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Maddie Frum. I am the Municipal Partnerships Representative at Food Cycle Science, and I am here to discuss a food waste opportunity for the Township of Schreiber. Before I begin, I do want to say thank you to Mayor Mullins and Rhonda Smith for stopping by our booth at AMO about a month ago. We always appreciate the support. So Food Cycle Science is a Canadian company based out of Ottawa that's 100% focused on food waste diversion solutions. We do this by using our innovative technology called the Food Cycler. So our in-home food recyclers sold direct to consumers, to businesses, to classrooms through partnerships with not-for-profit organizations, and to municipalities through our Food Cycler Municipal Solutions Division, which is what I'll be talking to you about today. So we're currently working with more than 150 Canadian municipalities across 9 provinces and 2 territories. You can find us in rural and remote areas and in highly populated cities. And nearby to you, we have programs in Terrace Bay, Red Rock, and a bit further away in Wawa. So the problem with food waste is that it's avoidable. It accounts for a large portion of our household waste, often the majority, and it's made up of mostly liquid, which is heavy and it freezes in the winter. On top of that, food waste in landfills is responsible for generating the greenhouse gas methane. All of these factors make it so that food waste is a problem that has a strong municipal impact. One of the impacts to municipalities is that since food waste makes up such a large portion of our waste stream, it's causing our landfills to fill up quickly. As you are aware, operating a landfill is costly for a municipality, so we want to extend the lifespan of them for as long as possible. The environmental impact is that organic waste in landfills produces the greenhouse gas methane, which is 25 times more harmful than CO2. To put that into perspective, taking 1 ton of food waste out of the waste stream is the equivalent to taking 1 car off the road for an entire year. And then in our communities, putting food waste in the garbage causes odors, which is obviously not pleasant for us, but it's very interesting for animals like bears and raccoons who love to rummage through our trash. So removing food waste from the garbage eliminates these issues and it reduces volume. This can save the town on hauling and disposal fees, save space in your landfill, and residents on the excess hassle and waste fees. So we often get asked, haven't we solved this already? Yes, there are green bins, which are common in big cities with high population density and the right infrastructure. These are expensive and challenging to implement. Many people in your community might backyard compost, which is obviously a fantastic solution, but unfortunately it's not feasible for everybody. It's certainly not a year-round solution, and you still have to worry about bears and other animals. And finally, the easiest solution is to continue to throw your organic waste into the landfill, but the long-term impacts of that are costly and harmful to the environment. So we propose a different way to manage food waste. With the Food Cycler, we make food waste easy to deal with and right in our homes. Essentially, we built a small kitchen appliance. It's about the size of a bread machine or an air fryer. You put your food waste into the machine, you push a button, and in only a matter of hours, you have a dry, sterile, odorless, and nutrient-rich soil amendment. The Food Cycler can handle all types of food waste, so that includes meat, poultry, fish, dairy, and even some bones. The machine can be used anywhere with a plug, so most people will store it in their kitchen, but you can keep it in a basement or if you have a heated garage. It will cycle on average 1 to 3 kilograms of food waste per cycle. So each cycle takes roughly 4 to 8 hours to complete and uses 1 kilowatt hour of power, which is the equivalent to plugging a laptop in for the same amount of time. The resulting soil amendment can be used in your garden, in your existing compost. It can be given to a local farm or processed with a leaf and yard waste system if your municipality has that. So here's a look at the 2 units we would recommend for your municipality. The Eco 3 holds 3.5 liters and the Eco 5 holds 5 liters. The Eco 5 is slightly bigger just to account for that extra capacity. They both come with refillable carbon filters that control all the odor from processing. The Eco 3 would be recommended for smaller families or spaces like apartments or condos, and the Eco 5 is better for large families. I like to show this image as it's a really good depiction of the reduction in volume you see when you run your Food Cycler. So a full bucket of food waste will reduce in volume of up to 90%, leaving you with roughly 100 grams of soil amendment. The soil amendment created during the process is completely dry and sterile biomass with many beneficial uses. So many people will use it to fertilize their garden soil right at home, but you can add it to a backyard composter, a leaf and yard waste system. You could pelletize it and use it as a home heating alternative, or you could drop it off at a compost site, a local farm, or a community garden. And of course, you can add it to green bins if that's available. From an environmental standpoint, over its lifetime, the Food Cycler is a net negative carbon solution. That means, just like planting trees or using solar panels, when you use the food cycler to avoid bringing food waste to a landfill, you're avoiding more greenhouse gases than you're creating in the process. The same cannot be said for other municipal operations, such as waste facilities or waste and recycling collection services, which rely on a large fleet of greenhouse gas emitting vehicles. So in addition to the environmental impact, the traditional method of managing waste is a heavily burdened system with unrelenting costs from trucking, labor, and maintenance. You can see in the slide that traditional waste management has so many steps to it, and all of these are greenhouse gas emitting. But in the food cycler, we've offered a truly decentralized approach that avoids unnecessary additional labor costs, greenhouse gas emissions from trucking and improper food waste breakdown, and infrastructure costs to the municipality or residents. So you generate your food waste at home, you put it in your food cycler and run a cycle, and then you can use it in your soil. One thing we've learned from working with municipalities is that residents are very interested in being part of the solution. They want to try new things, they want options, and they want their government to bring these options to their community. So with the food cycler, you get to bring something innovative and tangible to your residents. We're focusing on the low-hanging fruit. Since food waste accounts for such a large portion of household waste, it's the single most impactful strategy to achieving food waste diversion targets. So the results from our municipal pilot projects have been overwhelmingly positive. We are able to achieve a 98% participation rate, a user experience rating of 4.6 out of 5 stars, and a significant amount of net new waste diversion. Many municipalities have expanded their program to more households within their community after seeing how the initial program went. So in Nelson, BC, for example, they are putting a food cycler in every home in their city of 11,000 people. So the pilot program is a typical 12-week project. Residents would purchase a food cycler at a subsidized rate from the municipality. They use the unit, tracking the number of cycles per week, and then at the end, residents keep their food cycler. All we ask is they complete a brief survey so that we can evaluate the program's success. The results are then presented back to you in a final report or a feasibility study. This data can then be used to support your future waste management decision-making or to accompany a recommendation or grant application to expand the program. We do offer a final report and grant writing support as part of the cost of our program. So the funded pilots work based on a subsidy model where Food Cycle Science provides a discount, reducing the retail price by 50%. We then ask that the municipality subsidize the cost by $100 per household. And then participating residents will choose which model suits their needs and contribute the remaining amount. And then, of course, keep in mind they do get to keep this. So here I have some pilot size recommendations. For a town of Schreiber size, I would recommend the minimum of 100 households. So with the municipal subsidy being $100 per household, the initial investment would only be $10,000 plus the cost of shipping and taxes. But this is just a recommendation. We are always open to looking at different ways to accommodate your needs or budget. So lastly, here are some reasons that may resonate with you as you consider whether you should pilot with us. The first is that you have the opportunity to trial this technology at well below market rates. You will also see an immediate and impactful benefit such as waste diversion, lower disposal costs, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. And lastly, you can provide your constituents with low-cost municipal services, all while being a steward for the environment. So I would welcome Schreiber as part of this food waste challenge, as we believe your community is a great fit for the benefits of our program. Today, I just ask that you kindly receive my presentation as information, and should there be any interest in partnering with us on a funded pilot program, that you refer us to staff for a report and recommendation. So thank you so much for allowing me to present to you today. I am prepared to answer any questions you might have at this time. And I'll stop sharing my screen now.
I'm impressed, you got 18 seconds. No, we're, like I said, when we were down in Ottawa, we're very interested in it. Whether we do the 100 or we talk about it and do 50 or whatever, I think we'll do something.
That would be fantastic. And yeah, we are always open to talking about different ways to go about this. So maybe there's a way that you could partner with other townships in the area or communities to get you to the 100 because you want to focus on the economies of scale, right? You can benefit from that. But yeah, we can definitely talk about what would work best for you.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion for sure. Okay, well, thank you very much, and like I say, we're interested in it, and we'll talk about it, and Rhonda will probably get back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
the
much
rest
for
of your
the
meeting.
great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Henry went out is seeing if the second person for the delegation is in the building. Okay, Mr. Woodbury is not here for the garbage collection. So we'll move on to the third delegation, and it's a nuclear waste management organization, and they'll be talking about the transportation plan.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Chantal Gaston. I'm the Community Liaison Manager for the Nuclear Waste Management Organization working out of Ignace from the Ignace Landmark Center. Thank you, Mayor Mullins, Council, and staff for the opportunity to address you tonight and for welcoming a presentation from us. We are here this evening not to ask, there's no resolution to consider, there's no decision that we are asking you to make. We are here strictly for information purposes. As you know, our timelines for this project are very broad. We have a site selection happening in 2024. That's followed by 10 years of regulatory processes, another 10 years of construction at the site, and then transportation is set to begin to the 2040s. But we are committed to ensuring that municipalities, leadership, and people along the potential transportation route are kept updated with information. So I have with us tonight Alf Stammer, who is our Senior Transportation Engineer, who will be providing an update on collaborative transportation planning.
Thank you very much, Chantal. I'm assuming you can hear me, Mayor Mullins, councilors, and staff. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak to you today. As I'm working on getting the right screen to work, I'll page down. There we go. Have we moved to the next slide there?
Yes.
Yes? Super. Thank you for confirming that. The Nuclear Waste Management Organization was founded or formed through federal legislation in 2002, and we are responsible for the long-term management of Canada's used nuclear fuel. Of course, the residents of the Township of Schreiber would be familiar with us because you were in our siting process for a number of years. And I actually had the pleasure of doing several events in Schreiber, which I really enjoyed. At this point in time, we're down to 2 locations that are possible hosts for the repository. The one is in the Ignace Wabigoon Lake First Nation area, and the other one is in the South Bruce Saugeen Ojibwe Nation area in southwestern Ontario. The purple dots on this slide represent where the fuel is currently stored as on an interim basis at the repository sites or at the reactor sites where the fuel was produced. The bulk of the fuel is at sites 2, 3, and 4 at Pickering and the Bruce site. And when I say bulk, that's roughly 93% of the fuel. We currently have about 3.3 million fuel bundles in storage today. and we expect to have over 6 million fuel bundles produced by the reactor fleet, which is obviously still working. Nuclear represents about 50% of Ontario's energy mix. Sometime later this year, we hope to be making a final siting decision. And after that siting decision has been made, we will start a roughly 10-year regulatory process, followed by another 10-year construction process. And so any transportation of used fuel through Ontario wouldn't begin until the mid-2040s at the earliest. Radioactive materials transport happens already in Canada today. In fact, there are about 760,000 shipments of Class 7 radioactive materials each year in Canada. That's almost 2,000 shipments a day. The nuclear fuel cycle represents, or the nuclear energy cycle represents less than 4% of those shipments. So we're talking about 27,000. And that's both for the front end, because Canada is a large producer of uranium, but also on the back end, we do make, we as in the industry, Ontario Power Generation does make shipments from Pickering and Darlington to the Bruce site. The transportation industry is very, very regulated, and the regulations are long-standing and in place. They apply a graded approach to transportation, and so that means that if you're shipping a radionuclide which is going to be used for in the healthcare industry, the transportation package required to do that may not necessarily be of the same robustness as a type of package that would be used to transport used nuclear fuel. The trailer that you see on this picture here is actually was in Schreiber a number of times on display. The industry is multi-layered and safe, and that really starts with the transportation package design. For shipments like used nuclear fuel, transportation packages are designed not to fail in severe transportation accidents. That's perhaps one of the most difficult things that I have to portray to people, because everyone's experience is that transportation accidents happen, which of course is true, and that transportation packages often rupture or fail. And that is exactly what these transportation packages are designed not to do. So it's a very difficult thing to tell people that these packages won't fail when it's certainly not their lived experience. On top of the package design, we have operational controls and security and emergency management requirements, and also management system and compliance assurance and security. Because of the nature of the material that we're shipping, used nuclear fuel, we also require a security program layered on top of all the other safety programs. Stepping back to the transportation package testing that demonstrates that packages are designed not to fail, these tests that you see on the screen here were actually established back in 1964 and haven't changed since. Although the regulations have been updated many times and revised and changed, the performance tests for package design have not, and that is because they were designed to be bounding for transportation accidents, and they do their job incredibly well. The transportation, radioactive materials transport is jointly regulated by Transport Canada and the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. Transport Canada typically deals with the emergency management side of things and the placarding on the packages themselves, whereas the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission deals with the finer details of radioactive materials transport, and they lean heavily on the international model regulations, which I spoke about in the previous slide. And to ensure that we have good community feedback and that we're looking at communities for current and future generations, we've established a transportation planning framework. I'm sorry, I'm rented lips today. Apologies for that. And that framework is shown in this slide here. We've got basic requirements and objectives and principles, but we also care dramatically about being inclusive, our relationship with the land, protecting the environment, ensuring safety, and selecting modes and routes. On that note, one of the challenges that we have as an organization is that routes in particular are prescribed information. And that means that the regulator doesn't allow us to share routes, which makes transportation, which adds challenges to transportation engagement for sure. But at the same time, we are very, very interested in talking to communities along the routes and about the safety of the program to ensure that their concerns are being met. And the way we do that is that we seek feedback on presentations like this or on engagements we do. We revise and update the framework. We look at how we can incorporate the comments that we've heard into our technical and communications programs, and then we update everything and go back to people in the communities and ask them how we have done with regards to our commitment to safety, and if they have any other concerns. We know that this is an iterative process, and we also know that this is an ongoing process, and we're committed to doing this not only over the next 20 years, but well and throughout the transportation program itself. And that essentially concludes the presentation I have for you today. What I will leave you with is that in well over 60 years of used fuel transport worldwide, there have been well over 20,000 shipments, and not a single shipment has caused harm to people or the environment from a radiological concern. And as a transportation engineer, I'm very proud of that. Thank you so much. I'd be open to answering any questions you might have.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions?
Oh, it's good info.
Well, presentation, that was good. Thank you.
Thank you. We've left some information packages, and if there's any questions, Ms. Smith has our contact information, so please forward them, and we're happy to, bring Pulse back or, provide any other subject matter experts on any other concerns. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be with us.
Thank you for making
Oh,
the
thank
trip.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Safe travels. No.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
Am I good? Okay, are there any questions in question period?
No voice submitted.
Okay, we'll move on. Minutes of previous meetings. Resolution 240-24. Moved by Councilor Bourgeau, second by Councilor Bryson, that the minutes of the council and committee of the whole meeting held September 10th, 2024 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Committee of the whole recommendations from business arising from the minutes. Resolution 241-24. Moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor Morrow. That council accept the quotation from Vector Construction Limited in the amount of $13,715 excluding applicable taxes to repair the entrance slab and walkway sections at the Jack Stokes Medical Center. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 242-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bergeau, that council accept the quotation from Vector Construction Limited in the amount of $46,270 excluding applicable taxes for concrete work at the municipal complex. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 243-24. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, seconded by Councilor Morrow, that the North Shore Harvest Cupboard be approved for a grant and aid in the amount of $675 excluding applicable taxes for the use of the recreation hall, September 21st, 2024. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 244-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the 2025 Winter Carnival be held from February 20th, 2025 to February 23rd, 2025. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Oops. Resolution 245-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bergeau. The Council of the Township of Schreiber support Resolution 2024 080701-10 of the Township of Grinnell, Lyndoch, and Raglan with respect to urging the government to promptly resume the assessment cycle. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 246-24. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the Council of the Township of Schreiber support Resolution 239-2024 of the Township of Terrace Bay with respect to support of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. There is no accounts for payment, no unfinished business, so under other business, resolution 247-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor Burgeot, that bylaw 28-2024 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of agreement between the Township of Schreiber and the Ontario Trillium Foundation be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion?
I don't know what's in this report really. I wait too early. I have nothing.
Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 248-24. Moved by Councilor Burgeot, seconded by Councilor Bryson. That bylaw 29-2024 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of agreement between the Township of Schreiber and Skate Canada Terrace Bay Schreiber Figure Skating Club be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 249-24, moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor Burgeot. Whereas the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Schreiber is heavily concerned about the ongoing shortages and staffing challenges facing Superior North EMS SNEMS. Whereas the provincial funding for ambulance services currently at 50%, along with the city's 50% contribution, has been falling short, leading to financial strain on municipalities and regional partners, including the City of Thunder Bay. Whereas the rolling shortages of paramedics and EMS personnel in the region present a significant risk to public safety and healthcare services in northern communities, which are disproportionately affected by the province-wide shortage of paramedics. Whereas recruitment and retention issues, including insufficient wages and benefits, lack of mental health supports, frequent exposure to traumatic experiences, and inadequate recovery time between work periods, are causing high turnover rates and burnout amongst EMS workers. Whereas the provincial government needs to consider the following: signing incentives to ensure longer tenure of recruits in northern communities, cheaper tuition rates with modified length of training to accommodate staffing shortages, subsidized accommodations in northern communities, better define the North, increase in hourly wages, better benefits and more manageable hours of work, allowing firefighters to drive the ambulance to compensate for staffing shortages, increase provincial funding to reduce the financial burdens on small municipalities. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Schreiber does hereby direct the CAO/clerk to send this resolution to Honorable Doug Ford, Premier, Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister, Honorable Sylvie Jones, Minister of Health, Honorable Mark Pulowski, MP, Thunder Bay and Rainy River, and Honorable Delise Bourgeois, MPP, Thunder Bay and Superior North. Discussion?
I think it's timely.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. So that, we'll move on to our committee of the whole portion of the meeting. And up, number one is economic officer, status update.
As you guys can see, there's been a few funding applications that have been submitted. The fire protection grant is 100%. Jan and I had worked on that one together, so we actually were able to put it in for $25,000. Still waiting on MTO. I think I'm gonna have to go there in person to get an answer. We are working on the Housing Enabling Fund, Water Systems Fund application. And we have our implementation meeting with McSweeney scheduled for October 15th. And I am doing some training and going to some conferences to better my role in economic development.
Oh, I see that, that's good. That's good.
Kim, I just wanted to take this opportunity as well to thank you for the acknowledgement sign out front for the Ontario Tourism grant that we received. It's front, it's center, it's clear. Excellent.
Are we getting a sign?
Which one is that?
It's the one for the,
boiler.
Oh, okay, okay.
Are we getting one like that for the arena upgrade?
this guy.
No, like we'll put up something once they're in the process of acknowledging it right now.
Okay.
And OHFC, so once they have their wording down, they'll send it to me.
Cause it
It hasn't
to do
been
like a
sent.
big announcement
Yeah.
about that.
They haven't, and they just did their First Nation announcement,
Okay.
so municipalities will be next.
Okay.
Awesome. And are they still working now?
At the arena,
Yeah.
They're up.
we're still working on the roof, but all the work inside is done.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, thanks
Thanks,
for that.
Kim.
Okay, number two, economic development report on the pavilion.
So what I was able to get you guys was, almost a fully encompassed quote. I figured it was time that we had the conversation, with the funding available. These numbers don't include a few pieces to the project: hydro, electrical, stage, seating, lights. But in the grand scheme of things, you can see the dollar amount. It's so
Significant.
yeah. So I figured our best bet right now is if we're going to move forward with the grant application, to have the conversation.
Right.
And then I can get more secure quotes on the electrical seating, because those are smaller in the grand scheme of things.
Okay,
So-
Mark?
So this quote A is for $835,000. And quote B was, Ken, was 352,172, but didn't include, it's not inclusive of everything that you've already got.
That does not have, the quote A has the cement pad and installation. Quote B is just the structure.
Okay. Thank you.
So my thought on that, and great work.
Yeah.
Great work to start with. but I had the conversation with a few people already, and my thought on that is I'm a little leery going in to the pavilion to the extreme at this point in time. I don't think there's a person in Schreiber that wants the pavilion more than I do. I could be wrong, because I know there's a few out there. Would it be possible, and I know we'd have to decide on which pavilion we wanted, but would it be possible, seeing the breakdown of percentages and amounts, would it be possible to go ahead with just the slab and say some of the electrical to get you up to the 200,000 mark? And then that's 90%?
So the only problem with that, if we're talking a funding aspect, is once you apply for a certain part of the project, like it all has to be in one application, because we can't apply for the slab and then expect them to go back in with an application to pay for the pavilion. Like it would have to be maybe staged. We could look at that, like stage 1, 2025 cement pad, stage 2, 2026 pavilion. But it would have to all be applied for at once.
So we'd be,
Still 50%.
So you're,
so we'd have to stick with the 50%, thanks.
yeah.
Tim, as far as timing, when do you need council's resolution that we're willing to take on $417,000 worth of funding? Is it when you apply, or can we wait till later?
No, it needs to be accompanied with the application. At this time, there is no closing date for this application, but they can pull the funding at any time, which we've seen, right? So
See, my concern is, sorry, what did you want to speak to this before?
no, it's okay.
My concern is that we're still working on the 2023 financials, so we don't know where we stand from last year.
No, that's correct.
The general hope is that we have a surplus from 2023 that we can move into the capital project for the overruns in the Discovery Center, right? Whether we do or don't, we're not going to know yet. And now we also have our state of emergency with our wastewater treatment plant. Our director of operations is going to present us with a dollar amount to date, but we don't know where that final dollar amount is going to land. And if I'm correct, Ron, we don't know if we're going to be able to have that amount covered.
Correct.
So my personal concern is, given what I know we have in reserve, I would feel really uncomfortable promising $417,000 today, because I don't know if we have it. There's probably a problem, and so I'll let you talk to me about that. Is there an issue with, don't lose this, that once we get the rest of that information, that we're able to maybe apply in January?
That's kind of why I didn't really move forward with.
Right.
Like, I got you guys a baseline because we kind of want to be more committed, because as we've seen over the last 2 years, inflation, right?
Right.
So we know where the numbers are right now. We can kind of guesstimate it up to January if we wanted to go back at that time, and when we do revisit this, then that's not an issue. If I have any inkling that the funding is going anywhere, or maybe I can have a conversation, then I will bring it back to you guys earlier, but I can definitely put this aside for now.
I would be more comfortable with that.
Okay. Is there a possibility that FedNor would come up with some money?
So my conversation through FedNor is they're moving away from tourism right now.
Okay.
They're dealing with economic development, and we did speak on how this will bring more tourism, more tourists, more economic benefit to our downtown core. but they just didn't feel it. They said we could rediscuss it, but they didn't feel that it would be a strong application at this time.
I think yeah, I'd be more comfortable waiting for a bit, but as far as picking up a pavilion or whatever, I think you hit the nail on the head. The second one, it'd be up there too, around the same price with the installation and the pad board and the whole bit. So that's kind of where I thought we'd be looking. We'll just have to wait, like you said, wait until November, January, and see where we are. I mean, with this state of emergency in the wastewater treatment plant, it's going to slow us down. And for now, but don't want to take away the work that you put into this.
No, yeah, I agree. I'd like to hang on to this.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, too, you never know, right? There might be another source of funding. Who knows? Stranger things happen.
Yeah.
It's definitely one I'm always watching for more funding.
Right? Yeah.
So how's everybody feeling?
What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's a lot more.
It's a nice pavilion, though, no?
Yeah, I thought it would not be $1 million, but I figured it'd be close. I'm not surprised really by that,
And the one is steel and the other one is wood, so I've given you two different options.
Yeah. Wood one was nice.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, I do. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
just had a question. So the plan for the pavilion is it just gonna remain a pavilion, or were there winter options for it that you were gonna tie it in?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Do you want to talk to that, Kim?
Well, just kind of the idea, Mr. Osmussen in town does ice sculptures and that, so the idea was maybe to put the ice sculptures under there, do some Christmas trees, make it a destination during the holiday train and different winter activities, but not to utilize it with seating and that noise.
We worried about making another enclosed building to compete with our municipal center here, with the recreation center, and with the Legion. So we really thought to contain ourselves to an open air type of pavilion, only because it would serve the purpose that we were using it for right now, and we wouldn't. It'd be a community, more of a community space than a community hall. That was kind of Economic Development Committee's thinking about that. Am I right, Kim?
Yeah.
And it was another building we don't have to eat.
Yeah, no, I was thinking
We
about
don't need another.
the craft hockey though,
Yeah, I know.
if it was.
Yeah, no, we wanted it. We did just limited maintenance.
Yeah.
I know there's
I
going to be
know,
maintenance.
the problem, so you might want to speak about the program here. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so with the craft hockey bill, funding, you can apply, you have to, there's a lot of work that goes into the application. Like, they like it to be big and bangy, you know, we
Yeah.
have to do a video and, you know, have some of the residents speak to why we would want this, but if we could tie the pavilion into an outdoor rink, hockey rink, then,
Yeah.
So the township of, and I might have got this wrong, either Conmy or Avon did that, and they got funding to do it. So the plan is out there if we wanted to explore something like that, but I do know it's much more than,
yeah, it's not just paperwork, like we'd have to,
well, even the cost was significant.
craft hockey bill is 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah.
It's calmly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, they did it at Shuga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% paid.
Perfect.
Perfect. So, thank you.
But that's great work on that pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just afraid to say, no, I'm afraid to set up and say, oh yeah, we're gonna come up with that. But because there's so much we don't know.
Okay, we'll move on to number 3, the housing enabling stream from economic development. She's been working on.
So there's a funding opportunity that is available right now to apply for some road infrastructure to be replaced. Right now, through CGIS, I will be starting to work on determining town-owned properties and where they lie within the municipality and kind of how they're determined. So what this funding opportunity would do would be to enhance the road infrastructure around these to enable houses to be built on them. So it might only be a small portion of our road system, but there is funding available if we wanted to look at doing a few roads in the next few years. We just don't have an amount, so I wanted to present this to you guys tonight so you could read over. And then probably the first meeting in October, I will get Rhonda to speak on my behalf because I'll be away. But you'll have more information then. It's just the grant is due on the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a quick turnaround.
Good.
It's only 2 construction seasons, so it doesn't leave us a lot of time to get a lot of roads done. But if there's a few that you guys could identify or that we could budget in for to get done,
2025.
2025, it's up until 2027.
Okay.
Or
So it's something that we're still kind of in working on.
it'll just be a quick decision that will.
Which ones?
Yeah.
But are we still getting an overall price?
Yes, for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tanya's speaking to that in her report.
This will all kind of fall in
Okay.
together.
Put together, yeah.
Okay, thanks. So we deleted number 4. So the Economic Development Officer report on the Discovery Center Committee.
I believe through the operations this year and how strong our volunteers are, I just believe that this committee will give them the voice and also counsel the communication so that it will just be a little bit more transparent since it's more of a volunteer, like operation-wise, day-to-day hours are volunteer. Tammy and I oversee the building in different capacities, but it's mostly operated. Our greeters are mostly volunteers, so I just think that it would benefit both sides.
Wanda?
Just in a few conversations I've had with Ray, and I can understand how the volunteers kind of feel like they're not included as the other volunteers that the township may have. It's not a bad idea, for sure. I think it would open communications. The only thing is we would have to have a very strong term of reference that would have to be understood with boundaries as to, what the committee, that they're just there to advise council or make council aware of how things are operating within the Discovery Center itself. But I'd be willing to put together terms of reference and another proposal to council with Kim if council so chooses.
And I think in my report I had put October, but the first meeting, if we decide to go ahead, wouldn't be until 2025. So this isn't something that would be starting right now.
Yeah.
We'd be looking at 2025. So we have time for the terms of reference.
No, I'm definitely okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Move ahead with that then, great idea. Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
Very good.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, treasurer report. Council expense remuneration report, January to June.
So Marlene couldn't be here this evening, but she did ask me to let council know if they did have any questions regarding the report that she's provided, that she's open to answering your questions by email or by phone.
Anybody any questions on that?
No, I looked at my numbers, very accurate. And by her budget variance report, the last meeting, so we're on track.
Okay, the number 7 then, treasurer report, the 2024 tax sale.
So there's a property that is currently in tax sale. Marlene has been working with Real Tax to get this process started. The packages are in the office if any residents or anybody in general who's interested in putting a bid in on the property. It has been advertised. Just so council is aware, we've had one expression of interest to date.
Nice.
Okay, everybody's good with that?
It closes the 24th, that's it? Like, it ends when,
Yeah, the bidding, and then the highest, they'll do the
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't sell, which if we've already got one, it might, but if it doesn't sell, we can then separately look at whether we want to invest or not.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
you can do.
Okay. Director of Operations, status report.
It's a bit of a long one, and I apologize for that this time. Lots of information to share. We'll start at the water treatment plant where we had to report AWQI. This is kind of a new result for us to be seeing. It was labeled as no data, overgrown with non-target. Could be something as simple as them using dirty petri dishes, or maybe we contaminated the bottle when we took the sample. Could be either or, but we were required to do additional sampling to resolve that AWQI, and you'll see the attachments to that effect.
And it was resolved, right, Tom?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep. And on September 9th, we seen another non-compliance for the wastewater. And that is due to, it'll take a few samples to bring the average down since it's a running average. So having said that, we've also seen a bit of an increase in our numbers again. And that is due to us having to turn the blowers off periodically while we were doing work down there. So it kind of affects the effluent numbers. Then on September 12th, we had a major setback where the digester 2 is full of water, and it's not supposed to be. So when you open up the cover, you can actually see water rushing in, which is concerning. I feel confident in saying that I don't feel it's a concrete issue. I think it's probably a broken pipe. If you can see I've included some pictures of the pipes that we've removed from the digester 1 and scum chamber 1. I expect we'll find much the same kind of conditions in 2. But we will have to take a step back once we have clarifier 1 back online. We'll have to pump down the clarifier and digester again on the two side and work at repairs in the digester too.
So Tammy, the completion of clarifier 1, is this the date, September 30th? Expect that to be done?
I had several meetings today actually, because I'm not feeling very confident that we're gonna meet that.
Okay,
And I had GFL lined up to come September 30th to start on digester 2. So what we've determined is the 80 brothers were in clarifier 1 today. They've replaced the skimmer arm. They've replaced all the bolts on the rake system. The crew was also in the digester today, putting in some of those pipes that they've been welding. And so I'm expecting that the 80 brothers should be complete their work in the clarifier by Thursday, I would think,
okay,
this week. Aqua was supposed to do their confined entry on Friday. They have since told me that they are not going to be able to do that until Tuesday next week.
so you're not going to.
So GFL has given me Plan B.
Okay,
So they will arrive on Thursday, October 3rd. They'll work Thursday, Friday. They'll come back for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday the following week, but they gotta be out of town by Wednesday night because they have another shutdown. Then I may not be able to see them again until like November. But I do feel that in the 5 days that they're giving me, I think we can get done what we have to get done there.
okay, all right, very good.
Yeah. Dykstra Roofing actually arrived back today. They're working on the roof today and will be completing their work hopefully by the end of the week. Vector was in digester 1 doing some work down there. We feel like we have discovered the concrete failure. When they were doing the ceiling, it took an awful lot of product. So we feel that we have located it and have successfully sealed it. So we should be good there. We know that there is a hairline crack in the air line, the 4-inch air line that goes from the scum chamber to the clarifier. But in order to change the pipe, we would have to jackhammer out the concrete around that pipe to change the pipe. The 80 brothers have told me today, that was part of my meeting this morning, that there is a product that they can do the seal on that pipe that will be a much simpler seal and will be just as effective. So it was a compound that he picked up in Thunder Bay that is like a weld, that he's feeling confident that that's definitely the more economical way to go and it will be a trustworthy repair. Then we have Automation Now is still working on their stuff. I've included the OCIF spreadsheet to show you where we're at financially with that. The splash pad was closed on September 15th. Thanks goes out to Terrace Bay Public Works. They have loaned us the use of their compressor, and we have successfully winterized the splash pad and the baseball field. So that was really good to get done. We started doing some work here at the municipal complex, concrete work with Vector. That's all completed. We had JML in gathering information to begin designing drawings for the senior renovation.
So Tammy, you're saying that we're thinking construction is going to start January, February.
Yep.
Is the senior center right now looking at options for moving while that work is being done and where they might relocate?
We have been talking about that.
Excuse me.
We know where we're going to pack up the senior center stuff that's in there and where we're gonna store it while the construction is being done.
Oh, good.
They are going to make use of room 124 for their coffee time and things like that. But we will also suspend some of the, why?
Remember, we offered room 124 to Superior Country for office space. We can't use it.
Son of a gun.
We'll figure out a way then.
Yeah.
I
Dave's just asking,
thought
Tam,
that
do you
that
think,
was flexible.
Tam, do you think you could use the rec?
We'll figure it out depending on what programming is going on there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Just use the small side.
She's busy. That senior center is a going concern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where was I? Sorry.
Sorry, that was just the senior center. Okay.
Yes, the pavement and sidewalk project, we're talking with Creason Engineering out of Wawa. They were able to pull the data off some of our drawings that we had here to come up with the units to include in the RFQ. So that has been published again, and it will close October 11th. So we'll have some quotes to include in the grant application.
So that was just so that the quotes were more concise, right? The drawings are concise and then we know exactly what we're looking at.
Yeah, we needed to have because not all roads in town are the standard 7.5 meter sort of thing. Some are wider, some,
Right.
some streets had sidewalks on both sides of the streets. And so we just needed to be a little bit more specific about the units that they were quoting on. So this engineering company was very useful, very helpful, and they completed that work in a matter of 4 days. So it was really helpful.
Excellent. And thank you, Tammy, for putting those bear traps out.
Oh yeah,
I really appreciate that.
perfect. I don't think we've seen any success yet. But
No, apparently not, but still, I mean, because the videos of them walking downtown at like 8:45 at night, and then I'm driving and someone's walking their dog, and I'm like, my goodness. So that was wonderful. Thank you.
Perfect. So that is pretty much my report on that one. The new blower is commissioned and is in operation right now. I did hear today in the meetings that I have down at the plant that there's like a pinhole in the silencer. So Arzen is shipping a new silencer to us, and they are also going to be on site to install and change out that silencer under the warranty. So, and while they're here, they're going to, we're going to take advantage of that visit, and they're going to do some training, maintenance training with the Aqua staff on how to take care of that blower.
And I love that they are rebuilding the old ones, that it's a spare.
Yes.
Makes complete sense.
Was, go ahead.
Forgot to ask, the arenas, the ice is going the week of the 28th, correct?
Yes.
Can we do some sort of, are we allowed to do some sort of announcement of all the upgrades and everything before the opening of skating?
Not yet.
No, like nothing, not even up by ourselves, no, like, that's annoying.
It's the rule. I know.
Okay.
It's close, Steve.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we'll cross our fingers, maybe we'll luck out, and it'll work out.
No, yeah, it's very close. I got somebody trying to get a hold of it now too. So.
Any other questions on that?
Automation now. thought I seen them up at the water plant today.
Yep.
Smart meter?
Oh, they have been working on the smart meter. It's not complete yet.
Yeah, I know it's installed, but it just gotta be calibrated, right?
No, it has to be, it's installed, it's hung on the wall, it is plumbed in now. But now automation now needs to tie it into the SCADA and program it.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
So is that what they were doing?
Uh,
Or you don't know?
they were working at it, but it's not complete.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That was your report.
Lots going on.
That damn waste water.
Did you want me to talk on the
Well,
GL for that?
I would like to continue talking that GL, but do you want to wait till we talk about these lunch boxes?
Sure.
Okay, we can roll that in, 'cause
Yep.
it's actually gonna make more sense.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
Okay, recreation programmer report.
So Evan has provided, his,
Carnival, sorry.
his, winter carnival, I guess closing, budget and balance sheet there for council to see. I wasn't here for winter carnival, but it sounds like it was a lot of fun. And that it was a good time. If council does have questions about, his balance sheet, then, I can ask him about it.
I am so excited that we had a surplus.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think a surplus of over $4,000 is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
For sure.
And it's a good report.
Okay, Ms. I'll look at the number 10 Heritage Days, the report.
It's the same as the winter carnival. This is his closing statement and account of how the festival went over as a whole.
And I see what you were concerned about, Ron. He is over budget. He did end up over budget, but all in all,
Yeah.
ended up with another total surplus of just over $4,000.
Right.
So you must have been happy with
Oh,
that.
for sure. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. For sure. And I think the Gantt chart that he's working on is going to make that even better numbers for this coming season, right?
Right.
So
That's something you can work in advance of.
that's correct.
There is something in correspondence
Okay.
that I'd refer back to this report after.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, number 11, building permit, demolition permit report.
For some reason, I don't have that. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe it was
I should have said this to you guys too. Councilor Bryce and Councilor Moore, who just sit on the Recreation and Customs Committee. You guys must be excited by those reports too.
Great, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, so Amanda generates this and sends it off on a monthly basis to Stats Canada and to MPAC so it can reflect on our tax roll. Construction season is pretty much winding down. But I mean, for the month of August, I think it was a pretty good, increase into the tax base. No, thank you. What do you think?
Yeah. I think, no, I honestly think we're missing, we're not capturing it all.
No, we are not.
We're not capturing it all.
But it's based upon building permits, right? So if you're building a structure that you don't need a building permit, it doesn't get captured.
I understand that.
But is that your concern?
No.
I'm seriously,
No.
okay, never mind.
No, I agree with what the mayor is saying. I think that there have been several projects that have happened throughout the construction season in the township that did not have building permits to complete these projects. It's really hard when the CBO is so far away, and it's up to us to report it to the CBO if we see those things. So typically it would fall upon the person who's patrolling the township every day. And I think sometimes, that's not my job, or, it's just a small item, and it hurts our tax base tremendously.
Oh, I see. So you think there were projects that should perhaps have needed a building permit? Got you. Sorry, I didn't catch
Yeah,
up.
no, that's fine.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to put something else in place for next construction season ahead of time.
A new
Yeah.
policy,
A new policy and a good discussion and some kind of collaboration between the two parties, because, I understand that the CBO is not here. But we do have somebody in our employment that has boots on the ground every day that could relay those messages back.
Fair.
Okay, number 12, Occupational Health and Safety Committee meeting minutes. Any discussion on them?
I'd just like to say, I'm really happy to see that glass replaced at the recreation center. No, really, I'm serious. It might be a small thing to most people, but I drove and I'm like, oh, thank goodness, I'm so happy.
It was installed the second it came in.
That was perfect. Because I know that was one of the outstanding things.
Yeah.
So I was glad that was done.
Okay, no discussion on that. Then we'll move on to number 13, Schreiber Water or Wastewater Treatment reports. Or all the reports there.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Oh, can I,
Yes?
okay. I should tell council that I just got jumped there. So on October 2nd, we'll be having a meeting with, Patrick, Albert and Jeff St. Pierre from Aqua, who are coming down to speak with us about some of the ongoing issues at the wastewater treatment plant and the water treatment plant. So we'll discuss the contract and maintenance issues and our state of emergency and what our numbers are showing.
October the 2nd. So kind of a wholesome conversation about
Correct.
everything.
Yes.
I mean, the reports are good. The purchase of chemical orders, I think you were slightly over by the end of June, but nothing to get too upset about. I know in here, Tammy, there is the emergency / capital for 2024. So I know that you got a report that you want to talk about. I was reading through the work order report for August and then going back and comparing it to May. It seemed to me like August was lots going on at the water treatment plant, like compared to May, June, or July.
At the water treatment.
Like there were way more call-outs. It was a lot, I don't know why, but I don't know if you can. It's just, it's a lot of reading.
Yeah, I think, is that the one about the residual?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened there was the normal operator was on vacation and a supply came in from Long Lac and
Okay.
spent the week here. The elevated tower was filling up was filling up. So what the normal practice apparently was they turned down the flow so that you still get your contact time going up to the tower. So if it sits in the tower for too long, your residual starts going down. So it was that adjustment that she had to call and get direction on.
Okay.
She wasn't familiar with our plant, so that was just one of those little hiccups that it was a learning curve for her.
Okay. Because it's like almost a page and a half, 2 pages long, just, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, hearing no more, 14, the sludge return box I got written down.
So that report is a hard copy in front of you. And I apologize that some of the pictures may not be as high resolution after you photocopy it so many times, but essentially what's going on is the pictures will show you the critical state that the sludge return boxes are in. It's also a critical part of the process. So we need to, if we're going to improve our compliance and the process down at the plant, we need to also repair the sludge return boxes so that we can properly waste. So the 80 Brothers have provided a quote. So it's $30,000, but that's stainless steel. So these boxes in stainless steel will last much longer than what the original boxes lasted. They're also going to be, if we ever do get a new plant, it can be moved to the new plant because there will be like years and years of life in a stainless steel sludge return box.
And Jenny, this quote is for how many boxes?
That quote reflects one box, and we will need two. So that quote reflects the material and fabrication of one box. There will be, if he does the two boxes at the same time, builds them in parallel to each other, he said there will be definitely a cost savings to us to do that. But if they have to do the one box and then go back and start the work all over again to do the second box, we can expect that there'd be more cost in the fabrication.
So the existing boxes, are these things that are like regularly looked at?
Yes, well, looked at, they're,
Did they just like magically look disgusting?
And
All
rusted.
this state of emergency? I don't understand.
it's, the problem with the sludge return box is that it's not something that was ever brought to our attention that needed repair, so it was never on the radar. However, when we started doing daily inspections as a result of this state of emergency that we're in, garbage bags were discovered at the bottom of these sludge return boxes catching the, because it's not sealed anymore, it's not a sealed unit, so it was catching a lot of the sludge that was falling away. So it's a health and safety hazard, and it's affecting our process.
Jenny, where exactly are these two sludge boxes located? Are they underneath like water
Yeah, that's
and are not
kinda what I'm getting
seen
at.
or?
No,
No.
so if you look at the back, very last page of your package in front of you,
Okay,
that's that
That's your picture,
trusty
yeah.
little picture that I showed you before.
yeah,
The sludge return boxes are actually in the clarifier building. So the building goes over top of the digesters and scum chamber. That's where the building starts on both sides of the clarifier there. And then the sludge return boxes are inside that building. It's a very moist atmosphere, and that's why we're going to the class 4 for the electrical, for the explosion proof, because it's very corrosive environment. So over time, they have completely rusted away.
do you
Yeah,
know?
but
Yeah, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
so you're telling me that a human has seen these on a regular basis and at no point thought, hey, maybe we should do some maintenance on these over the past 10 years?
I would have to agree with you.
That was my question. Are these sludge boxes original to plant, or do they
Yes.
get replaced every so often?
They
or-
are original to plant.
This isn't just-
It is a ordeal to change them. But
But-
again, like,
But they're part of the process. They're needed.
But
Yeah.
they don't need to look like this.
we identified the rake system inside the motor that drives the rake system inside. We discovered that those were pretty in poor condition too, so we've had them clean them up and paint them and try and preserve the quality of the equipment. And obviously these sludge return boxes will be very high on the priority list.
That's gonna be part of the conversation on
Yep.
October 2nd.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so like the guy who asked you to CC him on all the emails or whatever from Aqua, he's gonna see these pictures
Yes.
and okay. I forget his name, but
Jesse.
that's it.
So you're going to need $61,660 for these sludge boxes.
To fabricate them, yes.
And then to replace them, plus labor.
The removal of the old boxes and installation of the new boxes is time and material, because we're not really sure what we're getting into there, so it was almost impossible to quote on that.
So now you have some running numbers for us.
So currently, as of September 18, we are at $215,386.97 to expenses.
And that's strictly state of emergency.
That is strictly state of emergency expenses. I will note that all of the pipes that we've replaced in digester 1 and scum chamber 1 is not included here. We haven't received invoices for that. They've also rebuilt the skimmer arm for clarifier 1, and the rake maintenance is not included here. They've changed some valves in the blower room. They did some repairs to the sludge trailer so that we could bag as soon as we were able to. And the additional cost for the lab work, because we have to test weekly now instead of once a month for the effluent numbers.
Right.
So those invoices have not been received yet.
As well as these two sludge boxes.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that outstanding invoices and what we're looking at here, you might be looking at anywhere between 150 to 200 additional money.
I would say that's fair.
Yep.
With what I've. And I'm here every day. What's been going on is it's sad. I'm not gonna comment too much on it, just that, it's ongoing. Meetings have been lined up. We have talked to people in Ottawa. We have talked to people since we've been back from Ottawa. We've had some positive conversations. I don't sleep at night. But what's the alternative? The alternative is to put it in the creek. So you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't, and nor do we want to. So we're forging on, we're having the right conversations with the right people. And we have our trust in them, and it's one of those situations where we have to keep going, and nothing you've said is wrong. But we know it's all there.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do. This has gotta be repaired. Thanks, Tammy.
So we're good with the fabrication and the install then, or?
She can't leave those lunch boxes in there. I
No.
don't know if she could post pictures to the general public. If you imagine what you would imagine, what was at one time a steel box and what's left of it. That's probably better than what these pictures actually show. But Councillor Morrow's quite correct.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to communications then. I'm gonna go right to Kathy, to the letter on Heritage Days, number 5.
That was my point about the Heritage Day report. If you could just note that in the Heritage Day report, just to have non-alcoholic beverages
Just-
at the beer gardens.
Sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
It was
that
just,
makes sense, right, Benj?
I was sitting there, I was like, it was
just an oversight. I'm glad it was
Yeah.
brought to our attention. I'm glad the person brought it to our attention, and we'll get better at it.
That's right. Yep.
Thank you very much for the,
And there was more than one person too, like, there was a few, but.
We're looking for it.
no, for sure. See, we're getting some more support for our
Lush
wastewater.
communities, yeah.
And myself and Anne Marie, Councilor Virgil, we sat in on the Health Coalition healthcare phone call,
Town hall.
meeting,
Town hall meeting.
and it was good for the like it was all in the region. It was an hour-long town hall meeting. It was
I sent, our CAO has notes on what was discussed, but it really was a town hall. People were just calling in with concerns about healthcare. But she's got notes. If you guys want to ask her for them.
Yeah. Do that. Sorry.
okay. Hearing nothing more on communications, then we'll move on to our unfinished business. I guess Rhonda's gonna talk to that.
Yeah. So, this is, about, the harvest cupboard. Every Christmas, they provide food hampers for families in need. They did have apply for funding, it was not received. And they see likely, between 70 and 80 users. And that's a lot for a small region like we have, or a small community. So, I mean, if council, I think we agreed to it last time that we would, rather than just give them the space, on the request, that we would put it through the grant and aid. So they're requesting the use of the recreation hall, September 21st, 2024. Yeah, the rec side was passed.
Yeah.
$1,000 in funding towards the organization's annual Christmas hamper campaign and the North Shore Harvest Cupboards grant and aid application, which included those two requests.
That's what we've done.
Yeah, we've always done that in the past, and when it gets closer to that time. But definitely 1,000. I mean, with the way the economy is now, and with mill being shut down. And,
So
I mean, there's,
this is something we do every year. We always get to this Christmas hamper.
Yeah.
Do we really need them to send in a grant and aid every year?
Well, they had been.
There's no way to make it.
Like last year, because we had extra money left, we raised it to 1,000.
Yeah.
But typically years before that, they'd always ask the township for $500. But this year, again, they're requesting 1,000 and unless our CAO says any different, the only applications that we've had to grant and aid this year is from the North Shore.
That's it.
No, I was just thinking so they don't have to do paper.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fair thing, and don't forget, Rhonda's gonna be working on changing the way the grant and aid is actually done, and you're gonna see a different process. So I would like for them to apply so that if nobody else does, we can say yes.
Yeah.
And this kind of just got messed, and,
No, I get it.
Yeah.
so that we don't come up to the end of the year and, oh, we spent all our money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I just think like if this is something we always know we want
We want to
to
do.
use grant and aid.
yeah, especially like that.
Okay.
I'm okay with $1,000. I don't know how you guys feel.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, I'm definitely okay with it, yeah.
There you go, Rhonda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and there is no other business. So that brings us to the end of our business. So, resolution, I'm not forgetting anything. Resolution 249. 250, resolution 250-24. Thank you, Cecile. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor Durgeau, that the meeting now adjourned at 8:43 PM. All those in favor? Carried.